Good.
All right. Welcome to the latest edition of Political Cadence. Today is January 24th, 2026, and it's been another eventful day
Yep.
in America. um,
Yeah.
but today we have
Welcome
a
to
guest.
America.
We have Jake Green from the Liberty Libations podcast. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's one that I host. Yeah.
Yeah, and you do multiple podcasts, I should say. Um, and in addition to that, you're a documentarian, and bring a wealth of talents to the interwebs here. So it's good to have you.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So today, of course, we had another. Minnesota has kind of dominated the news for the last couple of weeks, I would say. There's been other stories have taken a back seat, of course. The Epstein files have been pretty much ignored for the last couple of weeks, with the exception of a few analysts, I guess. But the events in Minnesota are becoming more intense. And today, of course, there was what is the term they use? An observer that intervened on behalf of a woman that was getting, that was being accosted by, I don't know what her story was, to be quite honest, but in his mind, he was trying to defend her from some ICE agents. His name was Alex Pretti.
Mm-hmm.
And the video to me is quite graphic. You might say incriminating, but it's what happened. It looked as though perhaps he was provoking them somewhat. Maybe he was shouting some things at the ICE agents, but they did encroach on him and asked him to stand down. Eventually, there was a physical altercation. He was wrestled to the ground. Later, we learned that there was a firearm that he apparently had holstered, and that was taken away, apparently, according, again, to an angle from one of the videos that was taken. It looked as though that firearm was taken away, and eventually, within seconds of removing the firearm, the first of 10 shots rang out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way. That's what I saw, and I wasn't on the ground.
News reports were saying that he was a 37-year-old white American citizen, and he owned the gun legally.
Yeah, he was a registered gun owner.
Yep.
So,
and in the state of Minnesota, you are allowed to carry a firearm as long as you have a legal permit.
Right. So that was my take on what I saw. To me, I mean, it's alarming. It's alarming the aggressiveness of the agents at this point. What we're seeing out of them does not seem to have, due process is not being observed. American citizens are being drawn into this now, and in some instances killed or hurt.
I mean, it's to the point now they don't even bother with the Miranda Act.
Right.
You have no rights.
No.
So, Jake, what did you see today?
I didn't see any of it. I was out working on my truck and working on my mountain. So, brand new news to me. I had no idea there was another incident in Minnesota. Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. It seems that a bunch of stuff's kicking off there. I'm not sure why it's so concentrated in that one area, but yeah, no, it's not a good day anytime somebody loses their life due to trying to protest or what have you. Like I can't really comment on the specific situation because I haven't seen the video, or I've only heard your description of it. So I don't know exactly what happened, but man,
At which point,
tragic.
Yeah,
From what I
I
was
drove down
seeing,
from my own mountain today. I haven't seen the video, but I did get the link from Phil.
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, from what I saw, it all started over a camera that he was holding.
Mm.
Right.
He was taking pictures of what was taking place.
Yeah, they accused him of pointing a gun.
Well, and if I'm
Interesting.
not mistaken, within the last couple of days, I won't say Department of Justice or any. I wish I could cite who had said this, but that filming the ICE agents was becoming an act of terrorism. Basically, they were kind of framing it that way. That was akin to um, obstructing justice.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean
of course
that's what
they're
they try
going.
to say. That's what cops try to say too when you try to film them.
right,
Mhm.
So
right.
like
Yeah, they're
it's some BS. You're allowed to film any public servant doing their job in public.
Yep.
Right.
Yep, absolutely. And the thing is, with the department, the DOJ and Christy Nome, of course, they're going to spin the scenario to where they look like they were the good guy, and not this time. As a matter
No.
of fact, Schumer made an announcement that Democrats would be blocking funding for DHS.
Yeah. Well, that's funny you say that because didn't 7 Democrats just vote to
Yeah,
ratify?
To fund
that
ICE.
failed.
What are you saying, Aaron?
I said I think that failed yesterday. That it ended up a tie.
It ended up a tie, but I believe it actually was approved because
It was.
yeah. I guess I don't know. I don't know. I guess Mike Johnson perhaps was able to
I mean
be the
Schumer's
deciding vote.
effort failed. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I mean, to me that kind of cast a pall over the entire day, and I got kind of obsessed with it, and I was watching the news all day long, and I really struggle with the the path that we're taking right now. But
You got to stop watching the news all day long.
Yeah.
you're right. You're absolutely 100% fucking right. I do.
Yeah.
I do. I'm getting very. I need to bring more levity into my life.
Amen.
It never hurts,
Yeah.
You can always find really depressing things if you're on the internet all day or watching TV all day, but man, there's so much good stuff out there. Like bad things, terrible things, tragic things have happened in this country from day one, and I'm not convinced that it's worse now than it ever has been before.
Exactly.
But man, there are just so many great people, great things happening out there, and yeah, I mean the days that I spend on like Twitter or Instagram or watching the news or what have you are like my darkest days. And it's hard to bounce back from just filling your brain with that kind of information.
Right.
Yep.
On that we can agree for sure. I mean,
I've actually suggested to Phil that we do like media blockage days. And he's accused me of being a communist.
yes, I have done that before. But
so did the conversation end with comrade?
Yeah.
Duh.
But I mean, okay, so like we talked, we're a political podcast, so we do try to take these topics and exploit those on these episodes. But doesn't it seem the Epstein files is pretty much just kind of faded into the woodwork? It's kind of.
I think it needs to have a resurgence at some point, but I believe the 3 murders in one city, and I think, Jake, you were saying how it seems to have happened in like a cluster. I think that's it. It's a cluster.
Mm-hmm.
It's they got away with the first one, and then the second one happened, and now this third one, and I feel like it's literally just a domino effect.
Mm.
Well, what's going on basically is the fact that they're pushing the issue for violence, and it's coming. It's on the
Yeah.
verge already, and
Yeah.
today just escalated it escalated it even more now
Yeah.
because you had Tim Walz going on national television telling people, look, don't riot, don't burn down the city, stay calm.
Uh-huh.
And ICE agents are just sowing discord and chaos.
But why isn't Tim Walz, if he feels that strongly, why isn't he out in the streets with the people?
Maybe he is.
Well, I don't think he is. But I mean, he's not demonstrably out there. He's not out there with a bullhorn. He's not out there. I mean, he's no. I'm sure he's not a street fighter or anything like that. No. But,
no.
I don't think he wants to answer any questions about the Somali immigrant stuff. I think he wants to stay behind closed doors for the time being and let it pass.
Well, you also got that fraud going on in Minnesota, so he's trying to avoid that as well.
Right. Yeah. Is that the reason he's resigning?
That's the reason he's not running again.
Or not
right?
resigning, but not running. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it happened 3 days after that story broke, so I think so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
I mean, I've heard, things like, oh, he's a presidential candidate. He's going to go back to his war room and try to figure out how to mount a presidential campaign or something. But I don't know.
That guy would be eviscerated on a debate stage.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't stand a chance.
I mean, just theoretically, by who?
Any Democrat that can put full sentences together. I don't know. Gavin Newsom would obliterate him.
Gavin Newsom.
Because that fraud case, it's an albatross for Walz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's expanding, and eventually it'll hit Gavin Newsom too, because apparently they're going to California next to show some of the fraud that's been happening there as well. So we'll see what happens with that.
Well, I believe that Newsom. I always feel like a lot of people feel like he's a potential presidential candidate, but I do feel like he has some warts. He plays. He likes to play both sides of the ball. Sometimes he also is, special interests have their hooks in him.
Yeah,
I don't think he's necessarily the ideal Democratic candidate.
And with the situation here in California, you've got a refinery shutting down. You've got the Budweiser plant in Fairfield shutting down. And then another company announced that they're moving out of California.
Yeah.
So of course that's going to become an albatross for Newsom, along with gas prices, energy prices. Because I've been listening to Tom Steyer talk, and a lot of the things that Steyer says make sense. He's making a lot more sense than the other candidates out there, and that's on both sides of the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Steyer?
He was a millionaire that originally was running for California Senate, and he lost his bid, so now he's running for governor.
He's in the presidential field too for the Democrats.
Well, I've heard it said a lot that that a lot of these things like Greenland, the immigration issue. I've heard, even Venezuela with Maduro, that these things are diversions from the Epstein files. But especially in the case of the immigration things that we're seeing, the diversion would be worse than the Epstein files almost. I mean, when you're talking about killing American citizens with very questionable legal right to do so, I mean, that's almost, it's like apples and oranges, which is worse,
Right, especially now that you got Trump talking about sending forces to Iran, and then he's also threatening Canada with 100% tariffs if they make a deal with China for electric cars.
which
Yeah.
they're going
So
to do.
he's trying to do everything he can
Yeah.
to distract the American public from the Epstein files because of the obvious fact that he's in them.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
So, Jake, I don't know a whole lot about the Libertarian Party. I did vote for Gary Johnson in 2016 because I didn't know. I knew I didn't want to vote for Hillary Clinton, and I'm still, a registered Republican, and I could not bring myself to vote for Donald Trump, and never have. So I did throw a vote to Gary Johnson that year. But as a Libertarian, how do you view, for instance, Trump's campaign promises on foreign affairs? How are you looking at that right now, a year into his administration?
He's failed every single foreign policy promise that he made. He came to the Libertarian National Convention and gave a 45-minute speech that was, he was heckled the entire time. A bunch of my libertarian cohorts were a bunch of children during that speech. They wouldn't let him talk. It was ridiculous. But he made a ton of promises. He kept 2 of them to the Libertarian Party, which was nice. But as far as foreign policy goes, he promised to end a bunch of these wars. He promised to end Ukraine on day 1. He's taking credit for ending a bunch of wars, that one of which he started. And so I think in general, he's failed massively on foreign policy, especially when it comes to war. He, like his first presidential term, he was very good in that regard. Like, Libertarian Party is very anti-war, and he was phenomenal his first presidential term. So we were kind of expecting something along those lines this second term, and we haven't gotten that at all. He's picking fights with Venezuela. He's picking fights with Iran. He's picking fights with Greenland and Denmark. Like, I don't understand what changed, but he definitely seems to have been compromised fully.
Oh, he's definitely picking a fight with all of NATO at this point.
I'm okay with that. NATO sucks.
Yeah, he's already pulled us out of the World Health Organization, and he's definitely trying to pull us out of NATO.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. The fewer worldwide organizations that the United States belongs to, the fewer entangling alliances that we have with other countries where we have to go to their defense anytime some bigger country comes in. I'm a huge fan of not being involved in those alliances, and I think the WHO lost all credibility in 2020 and 2021.
Yeah, but the rest of NATO doesn't really look at it that way. The blowback on if we were to move against Greenland, which even internally Republicans are like, if you do that, it's game over. We'll turn on your ass if you do that. So nobody knows if he really, because nobody thought he would actually go after Maduro and invade Venezuela. Yeah. But if he were to suffer, the rest of NATO were to mount a coalition and a war against the United States, that'd be no small affair. That would be.
Well, they've already started doing that when Germany, France, and other countries started moving troops into Greenland.
Yeah, they do have these entanglements.
And basically, the Prime Minister of Denmark, he's warning the residents of Greenland to prepare for an invasion. He's basically told his army, the first American you see invading, shoot to kill.
Right.
I think I did a poll, I think it was last week or maybe earlier this week. I think it was 4% of the United States wants to take Greenland. 4%. If he goes in there with force, like if he buys it, that's one thing. That's a negotiation. It's not done by force. But man, if he invades Greenland, I don't think he keeps any of his base. Yeah, I think he's done. Yeah.
Yep. Pretty much. He's even threatened to invade Canada from time to time.
Right.
Yeah. He has.
And because between him and Stephen Miller, they believe that NATO is weak. I got news for you. They're about to FAFO. NATO is not weak by a long shot.
Mm,
I think they're weaker than the United States.
yeah.
Well,
But
yeah,
here's the
but
thing.
it's not.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
it wouldn't be like invading a third world country. I mean, you'd be a
Right,
formidable
right.
opponent. These European opponents
Mhm.
would have nuclear capabilities. I mean, it would be pretty scary. But
I mean, okay, if Russia and China were to get Greenland, yeah, that would be bad. But that would be bad for America and Europe. But if America takes Greenland, then Greenland is a staging point, a jumping off point for America to get into Europe. And I'm sorry, but I firmly believe that Trump has world domination in his blood.
He's
I don't think so at
basically
all.
taken.
And
He's
I think he always
basically.
did, but let me just say, in his first regime, the only thing that kept him from doing all those things that you know, are saying, what's different now is they took the training wheels off. They gave him the bike and they let him run with it. And he fired all the people that told him no.
I'm gonna have to strongly disagree with
Okay.
Trump wanting world domination.
Mhm.
Nothing that he's done would imply that whatsoever. He's
Okay.
not. I don't think. I think his first term, he made massive strides in getting more and more peace around the world.
Mhm.
This time, not so much. But none of the places that he has conducted any type of military action has been could be misinterpreted as some type of like craving for world domination. Like
Okay.
Iran's not a world dominating powerhouse like Venezuela isn't. I unless you're going to go to war with China and Russia like directly, I don't think world domination is going to
but
happen
I
for
mean,
you.
the
Well, I
propensity,
don't know because of the fact that
yeah. Go ahead, Will. I'm sorry.
he's basically taken plays out of Hitler's book as well as Putin's.
Mhm.
So, like what?
Venezuela.
Trying Venezuela, trying to invade Greenland, trying to
Mhm.
annex Canada.
None of those are plays
Putting
out of
tropes
either
in
one of those
American
people's
cities.
books. I gotta say, none of those are plays out of anybody's Hitler's book. That's just pages out of any bad leader's book. We've been
Mhm.
toppling regimes around the world for every presidency since I've been alive. So it's not unique to Trump that he is trying to topple regimes in different places. Like we've toppled plenty before Trump got there, and we'll do more once he
But
leaves.
what's with the
So
constant
what's
back? What's the
different now?
constant? What about the constant reference to Canada? What's this? All this bullshit about turning Canada into, a state. Another state. Why even throw that out there? I mean, is
Uh,
he's just a bullshitter? I mean, but
yes,
the
he's a
acquisitive nature of
he's a
the
massive
acquisitive nature.
bullshitter.
It's well, we know
Well,
that, but
well, not only that, but he was
but
talking about sending troops into Mexico.
if he's not, if he doesn't have these propensities, why throw it out there constantly? Why tantalize people with the thoughts? I mean, just the sheer acquisitive nature. You know, I I, I
Of these
I hate to use
statements.
that. We hate to use the Hitler analogy because people use that shit. They use it. They overuse it, and we've
Mhm.
been guilty of that ourselves. But just the acquisitive nature. Hitler started with, if you're going to talk about it,
The
Poland.
the
Right?
invasion of Poland.
It wasn't Russia. He didn't start off with Russia.
Nope.
You
Yeah,
know, he didn't
that would
start
have been
off
a huge
with.
mistake.
That would have been and it was a massive mistake when he did it. But I
Yep.
mean,
Yeah.
so
Especially doing it in winter.
yeah,
Yes, that's a huge
That's
problem. Never do
stupid.
that.
That's
right,
right up there with when I don't know if you're aware of this, but Japan actually encroached on America. They sent kamikaze airplanes into Oregon. And I know it was Oregon and possibly Washington State as well, But
Yep.
what they did was they sent these planes in. They were supposed to start fires. Unfortunately, they did it during the rainy season. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a poor time to do that.
And this is
Right.
actually true. Aaron didn't believe me and he fact checked me. That's his job. He fact checks.
Yeah, Aaron's a
That's
good
fair.
fact checker.
Especially
We
me.
have a fact checker on our show too.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
And
getting
sometimes I want to smack him. It's a good thing he's in California.
right. I will go on record and say that
Uh-huh.
the problem that I have with the United Nations is the fact that they're the reason why the United States, is looked at as the bullies of the globe, basically. Because every time the UN gets in a skirmish, who's the first country they call?
The one with the most weapons.
Us.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we have those two letters US, because they always call us.
Mm.
That was
Oh,
good.
I like that, Will. Yeah. Very alliterative.
But I don't, I don't think he's,
To
I
make
really
up a
don't
word.
think he's, for reasons we've talked about already, I don't think he's going, I really don't think he'll have the nerve to invade Greenland. But he did go to this Davos conference,
Yeah.
and, he seemed to back off, and as he does, what's the term?
Taco.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of backed off his demands or his tone a little bit. Macron from France sent him I don't know how it got into the media, but a little note that he sent him was like, "Hey, friend, I can agree with you
Trump
on this and this and
leaked
this, but why?" You know, he leaked it. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Trump leaked it.
Yeah. So I don't think he is, but it's just it's like if you ever had a boss that has some sort of demented method where they feel like this is the way I'm going to put this employee on their heels, I'm going to keep them in check, I'm going to threaten their job occasionally. I think that Trump's philosophy is fear. He's coming from a place of fear and intimidation and everything that he does. Whether it's I'm going to sue you, I'm going to invade you, I'm going to,
Well, no
incarcerate you.
offense. No offense to you, Philip, but the Republican Party has always fed on fear. Because at one point it was, oh, the government's coming to get your guns. And now it's, oh, immigrants are taking your benefits and your jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, both parties prey on. They use fear tactics the entire
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's all politics is these days. Is people trying
Yeah.
to instill fear to get you to vote for their side, and the Democrats do it just as much as the Republicans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay, so a huge arm of well, okay, so how you look at where do you get your media at, Jake? I mean,
It varies. I try to follow a bunch of like primary sources, direct, who are on the ground at whatever's happening. So like I follow this this page called Real News No Bullshit. They're one of the best ones that I've come across, because they're constantly on the ground at whatever is happening, and you're getting like direct information. So I follow them, and then because of that, my algorithm feeds me a bunch of stuff that are, similar to them, and they go left leaning, right leaning, centrist, Democrat, Republican. I try to ingest as much well-rounded information as possible, because I have principles based on the Libertarian Party, and yeah. And so I kind of see everything through that lens anyway. So where I get my news from isn't particularly important to me. It's more how I interpret what I see.
Right.
Yeah.
And I want to, the way it used to be. I mean, I hate to hearken to the good old days when I was a youngin'. I am the oldest person. Oh no, actually, Will is older than me. Yay! But I'm usually the oldest person on our podcast. But but there was a time when news was reported and not commentated.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't
Or
want a news
opinionated.
person, right? I don't want the news guy to tell me what to think. And
So-
quite frankly, that's one of the reasons why many years ago I decided that my news station of choice was Comedy Central.
That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I like
Philip
that.
has forced me into the modern news age. I try to spend as much time scrolling and playing games on my phone while he is freebasing news.
Right.
My doctor thinks it's funny when I accuse him of freebasing the news, but basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We have the same doctor.
yeah, it's like
But
that.
yeah.
I don't know, Jake, if you ever saw the HBO series called The Newsroom.
Yeah, I saw
Oh
Newsroom.
yeah, that was good.
The very first episode, the opening, that is probably the most honest 5 minutes of television you will ever see in your life.
Mm.
Because back in the day, he was right. Back in the day, we were actually not only informed, but we were educated by great men and men that were revered in journalism.
I mean, so
Mm.
depends on the time frame you're talking
So
about.
problematic.
I might agree with you. Like
Mhm.
I definitely liked that opening speech. It was a very good one.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
think so. Aaron Sorkin wrote that episode. He wrote that whole show, and I've got plenty of bones to pick with that guy. But
Mhm.
that opening speech was really good. He just pinned it on. So actually, here's a question for you, Will. What do you think happened to make all the news organizations and a bunch of the government organizations lose their credibility over the years?
I can sum it up in one word.
Okay.
Rupert Murdoch. Oh, that's two words,
Two
but
words.
yeah, it's basically Rupert Murdoch, because now you take a look. I mean, back then, you had the Harry Reasoners, the Walter Cronkites, the Howard K. Smiths, the John Chancellors. Now, since Rupert Murdoch damn near owns every news outlet, it's always opinionated, it's political, it's
Mhm.
everything but what's going on out there. But
Okay.
the thing is, because of the fact that we've been spoon fed this crap over the decades, that now that's what we accept as the normal media news.
I'm going to push back a little bit. First, I don't really care that much for Rupert Murdoch or any of the stuff he puts on TV.
Right.
But I definitely do not think that was the origin of the problem. I think the origin of the problem was the creation of the Federal Reserve in 1913, and then going off the gold standard in 1971. I think it paved the way for special interests to get involved with printing our currency, which then led to folks acting extremely irresponsibly, the government funding a whole bunch of programs and organizations that it should never have funded. It inspired people to figure out how to use the government system in order to profit for themselves. And I think Rupert Murdoch is one of those people. I think there have been hundreds of people behind the scenes that have been doing this for the past 100 years. And I think that the creation of the Federal Reserve was the day we started building our own coffin with this country.
Well, the thing is also, I mean, capitalism, again, this is something that we've been spoon fed for all these decades. It's capitalism's good for you, it's good for me, it's good for the country, it's good for the world. No, it's not either. Because
Oh.
as I've mentioned on this podcast before, my problem with capitalism is that it will always supersede the number one rule of consumerism, and it's economics 101. In order to be a consumer, one has to have the means to consume.
I'm definitely going to push back on you with this one, because capitalism, it's just an ism. It's not a moral philosophy. It's just a way. It's an economic system, and capitalism by itself is amoral. There's nothing bad or good about it. It's how it's used or how it's implemented within the country. And what happened with our country is the federal government got so big. We've had two new agencies, an average of two new agencies implemented into the federal government every single year since our birth, which was not at all the idea of what America was supposed to be. We're supposed to be a very small federal government that only protected people's constitutional and natural rights. But instead, what happened is the federal government got extremely bloated and just paved the way for cronyism, corporatism. It paved the way for money to be so heavily involved in politics itself that you can buy senators, you can buy whoever you want, because they have the power to actually help you as a large company or as an individual or what have you. And so having the federal government be so incredibly powerful and able to force its laws upon the state, force its agenda upon the states, has made it so that whoever owns the politicians owns the country. And that is in no way, shape, or form is that capitalism. We had a very good form of capitalism up until about 1925. And then it all went to crap just a few years after the Federal Reserve was created. And that capitalism just slowly drained into nothing. But basically between the end of the Civil War and about 1925, we propelled more people out of poverty than any other country on earth. Since capitalism has become a thing around the globe, I think it's 90% of the world now does not live in abject poverty. And it was well below that before capitalism was a thing. And so capitalism in and of itself is just an amoral thing that it's merit-based, it's effort-based, it's not a negative thing by itself. It's what it gets entangled with that makes it negative.
So what you're saying is capitalism doesn't kill people, people kill people.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely people kill people.
Yeah, but the thing is, for so many years, like with my generation, Generation X, we've been told, oh, you have to chase the American dream. Here's the thing. George Carlin once said once asked in one of his in his shows, do you know why they call it the American dream? It's because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Well, just to give you mentioned you didn't want to offend me because I have been a registered Republican before. I don't think I've ever said on this podcast the reason that I always thought that is because I felt like that conservatism was more in alignment with what the original ideas of the founding fathers were. And that states should be able to govern themselves, and that people ought to be able to pursue their own happiness and their own way in life as unobstructed as possible. However, as I become older and more jaded, I feel like people have proven to be unable to do that. Unable to do that responsibly, because they'll use the tools of capitalism in order to line their pockets and subjugate people to, take their money or steal their money in certain ways. And, I just don't have, I've lost faith in humanity, I guess. And so I've evolved, or I've changed, however you looked at it. Over the last, especially since 2016, I've changed pretty drastically since then.
Phil, we need to get you a white pill, man. We need to get you a white pill. Things are not as bad as they may seem at times. Like, people do incredible things, especially when their backs are against the wall. Like there's so many people around the world who have struggled and suffered and had like way more problems than what we have here in the US. But so many people out there are happy, man. Like they're like some of the poorest people on earth. If you ever watched the movie Happy People, it's a documentary by Werner Herzog, and he goes into the super remote spots in Siberia where it's just villagers basically in really harsh environments, and they don't have anything. They hunt for their food. They grow their own food. They have to prepare for winter. You know, it snows like 13 feet in the winter, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they
And
have to go kill a moose to survive the winter for the whole village.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
whole village eats on that moose for the year.
And they're just the happiest people. And I think what I think has happened, especially with the evolution of the internet, is we are now privy to every single thing that happens on Earth. And I don't think our brains are
wired
we're wired for that. Like I don't think we're set up to intake that much information, especially when all these news stations are only reporting the negative crap. I think you can absolutely go down a really dark path and get very pessimistic if you don't remember that. Go outside, look around. Everybody's getting along, you know?
Let's meet our neighbors.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I wish it
This
were
is
so.
why
I did.
Jon Stewart and Josh Johnson are my anchors of choice.
I like Josh. We watch Josh Johnson quite often. I like him a lot.
I don't know Josh Johnson. Jon Stewart's a funny man, though. I like that dude.
Josh Johnson is he's a comedian. He's the one who made the I don't know. He's on YouTube. You can find him on YouTube. He's really funny. And but like there's this thing I was first introduced to him. He was talking about the man versus bear.
Yeah, the analogy of
you know,
the woman feels safer around a bear or a man. So
okay, I know who this comedian is. Yeah, I see him now. Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
And one of the things he talks about is this woman finds she's digging in her backyard, and I don't remember exactly why she's digging in her backyard, but it's under her tree, and she notices there's something wrapped up under the tree, and you know he's like, and you can hear the whole internet saying, "It's a body. It's a body. It was a body."
Well, for me,
it's just his delivery. I love his delivery.
Nice. I'll have to check him out.
For me, even though it's been a while since I've watched it, Stephen Colbert, when it comes to political comedy, he's my go-to.
Yeah.
He was back in the day for me too. I think when he got his late night show, which doesn't exist anymore, I think he completely sold out. I think he used to be maybe the best political commentator out there.
Didn't he go speak to Congress in character or something one time?
Yeah, he did do that.
As Stephen Colbert. Yeah.
So good.
Or,
as the Colbert Report guy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He used to be the best, and he tanked himself when he went to late night. That was unfortunate because I loved him.
Well, unfortunately, because his wagon happens to be hitched to CBS now. You know, I mean, between Barry Weiss and the Copel, I refuse to watch CBS News anymore. I've switched.
That's kind of where I was leading when I was talking. When I introduced the idea of media. That's what I was kind of getting at. That whole CBS thing. That thing is that's become an arm of the administration now. I think
it's Fox 2.0.
Yeah, and if you're to believe that Walter Cronkite and I think even Edward R. Murrow comes from CBS, I think. If you believe in the integrity of those men, it's really startling to see this air model. While all the shit's going on in Minnesota, he's going to red state. He came here to Cincinnati, and he spent a day eating Skyline chili and talking to white people. While all this shit, go to where the fucking news is. Walter Cronkite went to Vietnam, right? Dan Rather went to the Chicago convention. Know where the news is at, and then people will believe you. But
Yeah. And Phil and I have been trying to do our part. We have been going to protests. We have some great signs. You should see his sign. Oh my God, the one with the magnifying glass. Oh, that was actually on the news here.
The protests that are happening now are a little rougher
Yeah.
than the ones we attended earlier in the summer.
Well, I'm still willing to go. Philip thinks that, me being I am a wheeled American.
I'm not discounting it, but
yeah, I'm on dialysis and I'm in a wheelchair. Get over it, people.
So Jake, we should talk a little bit. We got about 10 minutes left here. Let's talk a little bit about your documentaries and some of your creative endeavors.
Yeah.
Are your documentaries kind of politically motivated, or are they different, or?
So I've done 2 feature-length documentaries. One was political. One was just about music, the making of an album. It's called Endure Lebanon. It's freaking, the album that came from that was stunning. My buddy, who's a music producer, flew to Lebanon to find Syrian and Iraqi refugees who had gone through some horrible things, trying to escape their countries. And he made like a cross-cultural album with a bunch of artists from LA. So it was fantastic. And then my second one is called Divide and Dominate: How the Powerful Steal More Power. And it used the gubernatorial race in Georgia in 2022 to kind of show how you don't have as much say as you think you do. And you don't have you don't have nearly, you might not have any say at all as to what happens.
Right.
And then the one I'm working on right now.
It's whoever owns your politician.
Yes, 100%. And then, so I have a documentary series up here in Montana, and we investigate police crimes. So our first season was about the murder of a man on his own property by a cop. By a sheriff's deputy. And then this season, we just launched the teaser like this week. And this season kind of intertwines 3 different stories of 3 individuals. One is incarcerated for life for a crime that he didn't commit. One is currently on jail for homicide, which it seems she was very much acting in self-defense. And then one had to flee the state to get away from the corruption. And it's wild. Like, it's called the Cascade Effect, and it's probably the best thing I've done at this point.
Those all sound like very. I'm intrigued by all those.
Compelling
concepts. Where would we be able to watch those?
Yeah, so my company's called Peaceful Sea. You can go to peacefulsea.network. That's our website. Or
is
it's
that
on
Peaceful Sea or Peaceful Sea?
It's Peaceful Sea, like ocean.
Okay.
So SEA. And then all my stuff are on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, X, Instagram, all of it. So basically any platform that you want to watch something on, we're on there.
Also, for our listeners, Jake can also, and I'm making really good eye contact right now, wink, wink. But Jake can also be found on Libation or Liberty and Libation.
Liberty Libations every Thursday night
Liberty
at 8 p.m.
Libations.
Eastern.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, Lisa looked up Liberty and Libations, and it turned out to be a woman that was
Drunk girl.
Sort of a stand-up monologue or something.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, drunk girl who got bored in 2020 and started making a lot of cocktails.
Okay. I like it.
So, and I think her name might have actually been Liberty.
That makes it even better.
I'm not 100% sure. You should have her on.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, right. But yeah, yeah, this whole thing, it's like I've been saying since I stopped watching the news. Yeah, your politicians are owned by the people who give them the money.
Yep.
And whether they're Democrats or Republicans really doesn't make that much difference.
Nope. It's a uniparty at this point.
No. Mm-mm.
Well, let's.
To me personally, I think politicians should wear racing suits because then we can see who sponsors them.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a great idea.
the only political candidate I have ever fully endorsed was Cheryl Carey, and I think I might have been the only write-in vote for her for school board. And I
School board of
didn't tell
Norway.
her I was writing her in.
You did tell her later.
There's only
Yeah,
one that I'll
but-
endorse that's currently in office, and that's Thomas Massey.
Yeah.
Thomas
Okay.
Massey,
We
okay.
wanted to ask you, is there, that was actually one of the questions, who would you, and he is just who is Thomas
Representative
Massey?
in Kentucky, right?
Representative from Kentucky. He is technically a Republican, though the vast majority of how he votes and what his beliefs are liberty based and freedom based, and he's the most in line with the founding fathers of any politician that I've ever seen. And it's not even close. Ron Paul might be the exception to that. Ron Paul might have been a little more founding fathers like.
Right. Well, yeah, Massey is representing most of the. Didn't he spearhead him and Ro Khanna? Weren't they the ones that spearheaded the Epstein investigation?
Yep.
Mhm.
He got it codified and put into law, and now Pam Bondi is breaking the law every single day she doesn't release them.
Good
Right.
for
Yep.
her.
Or she redacts them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? One of the things that I feel like that our what is it? Our Mango Mussolini withdrew on a lot is states' rights. Because he did seem to kind of talk about states' rights when he was campaigning, and giving things back to the state and taking the money away from the government and giving it to states. And yeah, how is sending the National Guard into California have anything to do with states' rights, or Washington, or Tennessee, or threatening to do it to Cincinnati?
Yeah.
No, that hadn't happened yet. That'll be the next CBS Evening News.
Actually, Maine is the next target.
Mm.
Didn't they send 100 troops into Maine the other day?
Mm-hmm.
100 ICE, or I don't know if it's Homeland or ICE. I don't know.
It was ice.
Do what? Get some
Right.
crabs? Like, what the frick is up there? There's like
Yeah,
no one there.
Yeah, Maine does not strike me as a dangerous
Lobster
locale.
rolls.
Any blue state or blue city is subject to attack by Trump.
I think all the cities are
Bottom
blue.
line.
Ooh, hon, I want to go to
blue?
Papa Do's. I want a lobster roll.
Oh, that sounds good. Don't make
Doesn't
me
it?
hungry. Dadgummit, I'm so hungry now.
Oh, so am I, but I have an upset stomach today, and so I didn't eat dinner, and now I'm hungry, but I know if I eat, it'll just,
Yeah,
reassert itself.
we'll figure something out, sweetie.
So,
All right.
yeah.
So this has been we got through it mostly without Aaron. That's hard to believe.
Yeah.
worried about that,
Aaron, you were missed.
but, yeah, but
Absolutely.
I don't think we agreed on everything. But Jake, I think we had a really good discussion, and I think
Yeah.
we did find some common ground on some stuff.
Absolutely.
And
I like
good
some
luck.
friendly debate. I think it's always good to be able to chat about this kind of stuff, even if you disagree.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Now, see, that's the difference between a debate and an argument. A debate is point counterpoint.
Yeah.
That's kind of my New Year's resolution. I'm going to try to tear down the walls a little bit. Tear down the walls.
Discourse.
All right, man. Good luck to you on your future endeavors. Maybe we'll
Thank
hook
you.
up again. Really enjoyed the discussion. And
I know you
Absolutely.
can't see it, but I'm waving and smiling.
all right.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night, man. All right.
Okay.